Garrett Wilson, touchdown! What a throw! Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson! Let's get it! Wow! Jet-Life Stadium. Aaron Rodgers is home, baby. Jets Media, I love you all. Recall! It's gone! Ready to take flight with the Jets, baby. Let's go! Woo! What is good, everybody? We're live on Jets Media. We got a special guest today. It is the representative of the Carolina Panthers on the NFC South roundtable. Let's bring him in. We got Clay in the house from the Roster Report. Clay, how you doing, bro?
What's up, Richie? I appreciate you having me on. I'm glad we got to put this together. Dude, the roundtable is just an awesome thing for all of us to be able to collab, and it's just going to continue to get better.
Absolutely, man. Really exciting stuff to have you part of Roundtable Sports. Guys, go check out the NFC South Roundtable. Clay is the face of the Carolina Panthers. We're also live on Clay's YouTube channel at the same exact time, so any Panthers fans tuning in to his YouTube channel, my name is Richie from Jets Media. We'll be previewing everything that we need to know about this matchup tomorrow, Jets versus Panthers. We had a joint practice yesterday in Charlotte, so we're going to break down what we saw there. I want to get a lot of insight from Clay about these Panthers, because I actually was at the joint practice last year. I took the trip there, and unfortunately the second practice got rained out, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Why did I come all the way here, Clay, if they're going to rain out and cancel the second practice? I had to catch my flight, but we'll get into all of that, folks. Don't forget to hit the like button, and Jets fans, Clay's YouTube channel is linked at the top of the description. Definitely go show him some love and subscribe to his channel. So, Clay, I want to get your thoughts about these Panthers, because Bryce Young, I mean, last year as a rookie, first overall pick, definitely did not step up and, live up to the hype, but I'm not someone that's writing him off too early like Dan Mitchell is. So I wanted to get your thoughts of Bryce Young heading into year number 2. Have you seen any improvements this early on in training camp? Correct me if I'm wrong, he didn't play in the preseason yet. We're going to see his preseason debut tomorrow. So what's your thoughts of Bryce Young heading into this game?
Yeah, so I had a buddy of mine. He's a content creator. He came on my channel yesterday. He was at the joint practice yesterday, so he gave me some inside scoop. Shout out to What's Up, Doug. That's who it is. He came on the show and just really gave me some great insight, made me feel good about it. I mean, of course, Twitter's a wonderful thing if you can't be there. So, but from him, he was telling me that the juice was flowing for yesterday, and for Bryce. This is a practice that we really, really needed to see from him and see how he could do it. And he looked sharp, right? He looked sharp. Had no picks yesterday, had 2 touchdowns, had a deep pass to David Moore, had 2 touchdowns to Terrace Marshall Jr. He didn't have Deontay Johnson out there. He didn't have Xavier Legette out there. The 2 guys that, the first round pick. And then, of course, the big trade that we made with the Pittsburgh Steelers for Deontay Johnson, that wide receiver, who's basically the only other 1,000-yard receiver on the team besides Adam Thielen. So it was a big day. And granted, it is A-Rod through. Oh, okay. But anyways, sorry, I saw a comment. But anyways, yeah, she looked sharp. He looked composed. He looked poised. He looked like everything you would want out of him in this practice. Now, again, there was no pads. Some of it, there was not pressure. Some of it there was. So, really, it's a positive thing. But to me, I need to see it in a game day.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from the Jets' perspective, we locked down Jaden Daniels in our joint practice last week, and then we didn't do that this week. Bryce Young kind of got the best of our defense, and I think if you're a Panthers fan, that's good because our defense is loaded up, and we're one of the best defenses in the league, in my opinion. Quick question, though. Is Bryce Young playing tomorrow?
As of right now, I don't think so. I think since I think since he started yesterday with the joint practice, I see it being a Jack Plummer, Jake Luton kind of day where they're going to split the deal. I don't see it being that way as much as I want to, because that's a debate going on right now with Carolina Panthers fans. It's like, I see both sides, right? I see why you should start him. And then I see why you shouldn't, right? Because we've seen so many injuries. And that's a big thing with Carolina right now. They're dealing with like 20 players injured right now. It's like a list of them. Now, some of them are very minor. And then we've got 3 or 4 guys that, are 6 weeks to 4 weeks, out. So it's unfortunate news. That's part of training camp. It's part of the game, but I don't see it happening.
Interesting stuff. I mean, I have Bryce Young on my thumbnail for tomorrow's watch party, so I guess I got to figure out a different Panther. Is there Panthers fans, like, if Bryce Young's not playing, what's a player that you're looking forward to watch the most in this preseason game, whether it's a young rookie or somebody that you're looking forward to see out there?
Yeah, I mean,
that I should feature on my thumbnail.
Yeah. For me, it would be either Jadavion Sanders, the tight end out of Texas that we got out of the 4th round. I'd love to see him get some more burn. Maybe Xavier Legette. I'm sure he's going to get some burn as well because he didn't practice yesterday, but I'm pretty sure he's playing in this preseason game. And then another thing is another person who picked off Aaron Rodgers yesterday, Trevin Wallace.
Trevin Wallace, yes.
Yeah.
That was in the end zone. So Rodgers had 2 picks yesterday. One of them was off a deflection off of Al Lazard's hands. The second one was in the red zone, and Rodgers does not see Wallace. He threw it right to him. So cool stuff there. I mean, let's talk about that joint practice yesterday to kind of break down what we saw. I mean, from the Jets side of things, from our Jets offense going up against your defense, the Panthers defense was honing it down early on, and it took a little bit for the Jets offense to get grooving. So the Panthers defense was winning early on, and then at the end of practice, Aaron Rodgers starting to get into rhythm, was driving down the field, was connecting with Garrett Wilson. We saw the highlights of Garrett Wilson all over the place. I mean, that wide receiver is just unguardable. I mean, seeing him do what he did last week to Emmanuel Forbes in the joint practice, I saw that with my own eyes. And then the Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson connection is there. But Garrett Wilson did speak after the practice, and he said we got off to a slow start, and we finished strong, which we have to make sure we're starting off not slow in the games. And then he also had a lot of glowing things to say about the Panthers secondary. He said that the Panthers DBs is one of the best in the league, and it was a big test for our, wide receiver room. So what's your thoughts of the Panthers secondary with J.C. Horn and those guys?
Yeah, I mean, J.C. Horn looks great. I mean, again, that's the biggest issue for J.C., of course, throughout the years since he's gotten drafted is him staying healthy, right? And that's the biggest issue. But when the guy's on the field, I think he can be in the name of your boy Sauce Gardner. I think he's that good.
Wow.
The athleticism is there. The hip movement is there. The footwork's there. He's got all the intangibles to be a top 5 corner in the NFL. He just hasn't been able to put it on display because he hasn't been able to stay on the field. Some of it's luck. Some of it could be injury-prone issues. But right now, he's changed up his workout routine. He's changed up this whole regimen, the eating routine, and everything seems to be flowing right because he hasn't been injured. Now, again, Carolina has been also keeping his reps to a minimum because they want to try to keep him obviously for week 1, right? So to the start of the season. So yeah, I mean, but the problem is Dane Jackson just went down. He's going to be out for 6 weeks. That's he was going to be on the opposite side of J.C. Horn. And honestly, no, I'm going to be honest for Carolina Panthers fans. I think our cornerback room is about as shallow as a kid's swimming pool. I mean, it's bad. I mean, the depth is just, it's not there. Honestly, there's guys out there, Xavier Howard's out there, J.C. Jackson, Dory Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. There's still guys out there that we could pick up. And I think that that's something that we might need to look into because I really, even though Deshaun Jameson, guys like Lamar Jackson on this team.
You have Lamar Jackson?
There's a corner named Lamar Jackson.
I know the Jets were the ones that drafted him. Well, really? Signed him and then drafted free agency.
Okay, so I did not know that.
Yeah,
so I love hearing new facts. Yeah, so we got him, and then of course we got Troy Hill. So and we got DiCaprio Bootle. So like really, we're gonna have to hope that one of these guys is going to have to step up and take over Dane Jackson's spot to help out JC because Troy Hill's a nickel corner. He's not going to be on the outside.
So I want to get your thoughts of the Jets from your perspective of obviously you're in the NFC. You have no issues with the Jets. I mean, I'm assuming, there's no rivalry there. Like we never really verse each other. So like the Jets obviously have a lot of hype around the media. We have Aaron Rodgers. We did all this. But like when you look at the New York Jets and you look at Aaron Rodgers healthy, hypothetically, hopefully, right? Like what's your expectations from the New York Jets this season from a Panthers fan perspective?
I mean, I think y'all can make a playoff push. I mean, you could even make the Super Bowl case, right? I think that with Aaron Rodgers coming back healthy, can as long as he remains healthy, and you've got the running back room to prove it. Isaiah Davis, I was high on coming out of the draft. I was high on Braylon Allen coming out of the draft. You got the run game to support him, to take the pressure off of Aaron Rodgers. That offensive line, I feel like y'all have improved. The shifts that you have made. The defensive line is just absolutely stacked with Quentin Williams in there. And then you got CJ Mosley, who's a great leader. And who's a Saints legend, apparently, because then he came from the Saints, right?
Ravens.
CJ? Ravens. Okay, so Ravens. And then of course this whole Hassan Reddick ordeal. Like, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So like, but even without him, I still think you're a top 5 defense. So for Aaron Rodgers and this team, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. It just all those puzzle pieces just need to come together and work it out.
Yeah, and stay healthy, number one. I definitely want to share my thoughts about the Carolina Panthers because I feel like last year was definitely disappointing from the Bryce Young hype, right? You get a quarterback, number one, and then you have CJ Stroud go out there and light up the league, who you could have drafted number one. But what the Panthers did this offseason, I think, was really awesome, in my opinion, is they really invested in around their quarterback, not only on the perimeter with the playmakers and bringing in Johnson and drafting Leggett, but they really invested in the trenches, signing like the 2 biggest guards on the market, if I'm not mistaken. What's your thoughts of what the Panthers did on offense around Bryce Young, and what's your expectations from this offense heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, the expectations for me is just progress, right? Like, unfortunately, we're stuck in mediocrity. That's where we are. I mean, and you know how that is, Richie. The Jets have been in that realm for some time as well. Yeah, so it's like, and it's no disrespect by when I mean that. And it's just like, for this offense, I expect improvement, but how much? Because the wide zone scheme really is what Canales is running is going to be very run heavy. It's a very run heavy offense. And we're going to probably see more of the running. For me, I just want to see progress. I want to see competitive football. I want to see them go down the field and drive 4 or 5 times a game instead of once or twice a game, because that's as much as we're getting, and actually getting in the end zone and score. And that's been the biggest issue because we've been bottom in the league in the red zone. So it's about the progress, getting the ball quick out of Bryce Young's hands and taking the pressure off of him in the run game.
I see a lot of Jets and Panthers fans clashing in the chat right now, talking trash to each other. I mean, come on, give me a break. We're both trying to, let's go. This is a mutual thing here. Clay and I are friends. What are you guys doing in the chat? But hey, if we're both affiliated with Roundtable Sports, Clay, I think that's what it's all about, because Roundtable Sports is about bringing division rivals together, even though we're not division rivals, but to talk some trash in the chat. Guys, if you did not know, Roundtable Sports brings you every single division, okay? And Clay is the face of the Carolina Panthers on the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST. So definitely, guys, go check out the NFC South Roundtable. As you guys know, I'm the face of the Jets with the AFC East Roundtable, so it's cool to have Clay on here. And it's going to be fun to have a lot of different collabs within our network of Roundtable Sports, of everybody affiliated with each team. What's your thoughts of the NFC South Roundtable so far? We're 2 weeks in. Like, what's your thoughts of the Saints guy, the Bucks guy, the Falcons guy? I mean, you see what the Falcons did this past week. Like, what's your thoughts of your division and your co-hosts on that roundtable?
Yeah, I tell you, it's been so much fun. The past 2 episodes have been great. It's been so much fun. It's been great to get to know those guys, not only from a perspective of a sports fan, but also on a personal level. And just the chemistry is going to continue to grow there, and that channel is just going to continue to grow. And it's a blessing. I think it's a great way what Roundtable Sports is doing. It's just a great, wonderful, beautiful thing. Yeah, I mean, there it is right there. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I think that it's everything that if you're a fan and you want to hear it from an actual fan's mouth, instead of watching ESPN or CBS or watching all the mass media shit, just come over here and actually come over and check ours out, because it's way better. And we have great takes, and it's right now we've been pretty mutual. Right, we've been pretty mutual for the most part, except in the wide receiver rankings. They did get a little heated there, but it's been fun so far. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, we need more debate because I feel like NFC South roundtable is a little too nice to each other, if you're asking me. But that's okay, guys. Definitely go check out the NFC South roundtable live Tuesdays, pre-recorded shows coming out. I'm gonna put the link right now in the live chat so you guys can go support Clay over there on the NFC South roundtable, and of course, go check out their other roundtables across the network, including yours truly, the AFC East. So I just put the link in the chat, guys, if you want to go subscribe. And I don't want to call Clay out or anything, but the NFC South roundtable has the least amount of subs out of all the roundtables.
Hey, we just started, man. 2 episodes in. 2 episodes in. Give it some time. Give it some time. It'll get there. It'll get there.
It will get there. When the season begins, that's when the fun really begins.
Oh, for sure.
I got to get your thoughts about the Falcons, because that's in your own division. And, like, not only did they make a big splash in the offseason of signing Kirk Cousins and then all of a sudden drafting, Penix, and now they just landed 2 premier defensive players in the last few days. Are the Falcons your favorite to win that division? Do you think the Panthers can still figure out a way to do it? Or the Saints were pretty good last year? The Buccaneers won the division last year with Baker. Like, what's your thoughts about the NFC South?
The more and more I think about it, I still lean towards the Falcons, but the Falcons somehow, some way, always just to end up pulling the Falcons, where it's just, they just fold. Right. And that's just how the Falcons have been. And I'm not being disrespectful. That's just how it's been. Like, and that's how Tampa Bay has taken over. Now, of course, the Tom Brady effect, that was a total different story. But, but then the Saints, the biggest issue that they're dealing with there is Derek Carr and, of course, their coach. I think Dennis Allen is the worst coach in the NFL, maybe top 2 at least. But that's the problem for the Saints. I think that the coaching there is awful. I think for the Falcons, I think Raheem Morris is going to be great. Unfortunately for us, I think Kirk Cousins just brings a whole different consistency there for the Falcons. And then, of course, it comes down to the wide receiver room there. Can they get the ball to someone else besides Drake London? Can Kyle Pitts finally come back to what he was his rookie year? Of course, Algier and Bijan, they're going to do their thing. And of course, they bring Judon in, and they got Justin Simmons on top of Jesse Bates and Grady Jarrett. Like, it's crazy what they've done. They're all in. I think it's boom or bust for the Falcons right now. And then I got Tampa at 2. So, Tampa's another team that they can always sneak it out. Can Baker do what he did last year without Dave Canales, right? And now that Dave Canales is gone, we all have heard about the Dave Canales effect through guys like Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, that whole effect, and even Baker now. So can Baker redo that? If he can, they might have a chance. It will come down to the Falcons and Tampa. I think it's the Carolina, they have a chance. I think in any given Sunday, I'm a big believer in that. But there's got to be a lot of pieces and a lot of luck for all that to come together.
Bryce Young to come through. I'm actually really high on the Bucks. Like, I still I like to go on a limb and say they're still going to win the division just because I know the favorites. Everyone's picking the Falcons. It's like their division to lose. But I just look at Baker Mayfield and see what he did with those wide receivers and the continuity effect, minus the, of course, offensive coordinator leaving. I think that Baker Mayfield has a chance to kind of reclaim that division. But it really just comes down to Bryce Young for you guys. You surrounded him with the weapons. You surrounded him with the offensive line. And Bryce Young's got to step up. This is year 2 for him. He's got to step up and prove to be a starting level quarterback in the NFL. Now, I want to get your thoughts about the AFC East, if you don't mind. Sure. We talked about the Jets a little bit, but you got the Buffalo Bills. And from the Jets fan perspective, the Bills did nothing this offseason that scares us. They lost Diggs. They drafted Keon Coleman. They brought in Curtis Samuel. And then now they just lost Matt Milano. When I look at the Bills, I'm not like, oh my God, they got so much better. They're still the team to beat in the division because they're 4-time division champions in a row. The Miami Dolphins, they also didn't do anything in the offseason that scares me. They still have a good roster from last year. Tyreek Hill is someone that obviously sparks fear in teams, but does Tua? I don't think so. So what's your thoughts of the AFC East and who do you got coming out?
As long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, y'all are winning the East. In my opinion, I don't see a team well-rounded in the AFC East more than the Jets from a defensive to an offensive standpoint. You have all the weapons on offense, right? Maybe if we're talking about maybe the tight end position, you could give it to the Bills, but other than that, the rest of the roster, it's all Jets. Like if you let's say you build a super team through the AFC East. The only thing that you might transition is the quarterback position and maybe the tight end room. And that's it. Like, you look at that offensive line of the Jets, you look at the defensive line, you look at the linebacker room, you look at the corners, you look at the DBs. That's everything that you need. Even the wide receiver room, you can make a case. Now, again, probably that goes to the Dolphins. But other than that, the running back room definitely goes to the Jets. So, like, if we're talking about each and every position group on paper, Jets overall checks all the boxes more. So, to me, I think the team is the Jets. And, I mean, of course, it just comes down to, obviously, your boy Rodgers staying healthy. Now, when we look at these other teams, I think the Bills are still at least number 2. I trust Josh Allen more than I do Tua Tunga check down, because that's all he is. He's a check down machine. And TD might not like that, but it is what it is. It's quick routes. It's getting the ball out quick. It works. So, and it's kind of like the same thing that Canales runs. I'm pretty sure it's a wide zone spread that they run there in Miami. So it's quick routes. And so if Tua didn't have Tyreek Hill, or he didn't have Jalen Waddle, he didn't have Raheem Mostert, he didn't have Devin A-Chain, what is Tua? You put Tua on the roster at the Bills, that's a 5-11 to win team at best. You know what I mean? Like, you got to put the shoe on the other foot. So, I see Dolphins coming out in third again. I got the Bills at number 2, and I think the Patriots are in rebuild mode, so they're going to be at 4.
Damn, you heard that, Jets fans. From an objective point of view, Clay has the Jets winning the division if Aaron Rodgers can stay upright, which he will, by the way. I saw the future, and he will stay healthy. Okay,
because crystal ball.
Bro, I am still traumatized. I was at that Monday night game last year. I almost had to leave the stadium because I was like, and guess who I had next to me laughing in my face? TD. It was a roundtable event, and TD's like laughing. It's all right, Richie. You still got Zach Wilson. And I'm like ready to just like, bro, I'm leaving the AFC East roundtable. You can do the roundtable without me, okay? I can't handle this. So I'm traumatized from that, Clay. But the good news is we're healthy, and we're hoping to have a successful season here in New York. Now let's pivot to the preseason matchup tomorrow.
Sure.
You talked about some players you're looking out for in the Panthers. Are there any guys in the Jets? Because we got Braylon Allen that looked really good as a rookie. Isaiah Davis, our 2 rookie running backs. Obviously, we have Bryce Hall, but he's not going to be suiting up in the preseason. We have a apparent really good quarterback coming out of the UFL. The UFL MVP Adrian Martinez was a star last week. We're excited to see him get some action late in the 4th quarter. Are there any guys on the Jets that you're looking at for the preseason matchup? Because I know that you're not going to play any starters for the Panthers, and neither of the Jets. So it's going to be just a battle of the backups the whole time.
Yeah. For me, I think is Javon Kinlaw playing for you guys? Do you know that?
No, he's not. He's part of the starting rotation, but he looked good in the joint practices.
That's why I was about to ask that, because he's a Gamecock. So I was wanting to see if he was going to get some burn. But for me, Braylon Allen, again, I want to see more of him. I want to see more of that guy. I want to see what Braylon Allen could do, because I was so high on him because I wanted Carolina to actually draft him. I wanted Carolina to go out and get that.
I'm not going to lie, Clay. I've heard a lot of teams say they wish they drafted Braylon Allen. I'm like, haha.
But we also got Jonathan Brooks, which, granted, he was the number 1 running back in this draft class, and he matches that Bijan narrative, because before he tore that ACL at Texas, he had over 1,000 yards.
Is he playing tomorrow?
No, he's still dealing with it. I think they're trying to bring him along slowly. He's practicing on the sidelines.
Is Chuba Hubbard okay? Because I heard he got depleted yesterday.
Yeah, he got hit. I haven't heard any updates on his injury yet. It might be like a day-to-day thing. I haven't heard anything yet. And we had, Robert Hunt got carted off yesterday, but he'll be back. He came right back into practice, so that was no big deal. But yeah, I think for me, from the Jet side, I want to see Braylon Allen. That's the number 1 guy I want to see, just because of how high I was on him. And the guy is just an absolute bruiser. Are we looking at the next, Mike Tolbert? Are we looking at, or more, are we looking at the next, could we see another Derrick Henry coming into the league out of Braylon Allen?
I mean, the cool thing about Braylon Allen that I love, Clay, is that he's the youngest player in the entire NFL. He's 20 years old. That is ridiculous. He went to college a year early, and the fact that he is got drafted to the Jets blows my mind because we're really high on him. We have Bryce Hall, who we're expecting to be one of the top running backs in the NFL. Now we have Braylon Allen. And also Isaiah Davis, who you mentioned you liked pre-draft, is looking really good as well. So the Jets have 3 running backs that we're really excited about that are all through the draft. And then our 4th running back, Izzy Abanikanda, who we drafted at a Pitt last year, kind of feels like the odd man out. Doesn't really fit the system. We also have Malachi Corley, who we drafted out of Western Michigan.
Thank you for
Western
mentioning
Kentucky,
him.
I believe.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts
Mr.
on
Yak
Malachi?
King himself. Yak King
King.
himself. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot you guys drafted him. So yes, I will be looking out for him in the game because that was another guy who was high on my board for us to go for. If we didn't go with Xavier Legette that early, I was hoping maybe we'd go like when I was thinking about my draft board, right? I was thinking we go like center, corner, first 2 picks, right? Because we had 2 second-round picks. So I was like, all right, we'll go corner, center, whatever, or pass rusher, corner, whatever the case may be. And I was like, all right, in the 3rd round, we'll have that pick. Maybe that's where we get Malachi Corley to bring into this roster. I love him. I broke down his game film. That dude is a route machine.
Yeah, we're excited about Malachi Corley. We also, our 1st-round pick, Olu Fashanu, is going to be out there. The fact that he's not a starter is crazy. So he's going to be out there, maybe even playing right tackle because he's been playing right tackle recently in training camp. He played left tackle last week. So the Jets are trying to get him comfortable on both sides in case one of our veteran tackles goes down in the middle of the season. Olu is the next man up. Your boy, what's up, Doug, says, tell Richie Bryce Hall looked very healthy on Thursday, had a couple touchdowns. I'm assuming he means Bryce Hall. And, right? Yeah. What's up, Doug, was at practice yesterday, so it seems like he was impressed by Bryce Hall. That's good to hear. Bryce Hall out there getting some tutties.
Richie's going to pound that table because I've heard some people talking shit that Bryce Hall's not a top 10 running back in the NFL.
Yeah, TD Fins talk. So he's about to go crazy this year, and Bryce Hall is one of those players that I'm so high on, not only just as a running back, but he's going to get utilized in the pass game. He was 2nd in the NFL in all-purpose yards behind Christian McCaffrey from running backs, and that was coming off an ACL. He had played all 17 games last year. The Jets are going to be utilizing him all over the place. So the Jets are very, very high and excited for Bryce Hall. So to wrap things up here, Clay, to wrap it up at a 30-minute mark, just your last overall thoughts of joint practice and heading into this preseason game. Do you have any final notes or things you're looking forward to tomorrow based off of what we talked about thus far?
Yeah, I mean, just based off the practice yesterday. Yesterday was the best practice, I think, for the Carolina Panthers in 2024. I was glad to see Bryce shine. I was glad to see that he had multiple touchdowns. Just had an absolute beauty of deep balls to David Moore, and then of course 2 sweet touchdowns to Terrace Marshall Jr. Against your boy DJ Reed. And so, it's good seeing that, right? Because that's what us Panthers fans have been looking for. We've been trying to see this development that Dave Canales has just been, harping on about starting it from the ground up, getting the ball out in 2.7 seconds, working on his footwork, working on his poise in the pocket. And that's what you want to see. But it's a good thing because we're starting to see him move outside the pocket a little bit more, utilize his legs a little bit to, transition him. And I think that was the problem last year. They were just trying to keep him as a pocket passer. And really out of Alabama, if you watch his game film, he's not just mainly a pocket passer. He's a guy that can roll out, make some plays with his legs. So I was happy with that.
What did Aaron Rodgers say about Bryce Young? I heard something about that.
Yeah, Bryce. So last year when we had our joint practice, he did an interview on Pat McAfee show. This was around October of last year. Basically, he said that we need to have patience. He believes that Bryce can be a great quarterback in the NFL. He basically says has all the intangibles. He just said that the front office needs to make some moves. And they did, right? They went out, got Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis to bolster up this offensive line. They traded for Deontay Johnson, who's a top 5 separator in the NFL. They went out, got Xavier Legette. They brought in Jonathan Brooks. They brought in a vertical threat tight end out of Texas, Jatavion Sanders. So they did all these things to obviously it's all going all in on Bryce. Now it's all about all these pieces coming together offensively because honestly, defensively, I don't really have much worries besides the cornerback depth concern. when I look at our defense, Evero has this defense looking top notch, and Evero is an absolute genius. He's unfortunately, we're probably going to lose him next year because I think he's going to take a head coaching job. But I think that Evero he's taken scraps and made him look like gold.
Well, that's interesting to hear. Aaron Rodgers high on Bryce Young, and I'm a little higher on Bryce Young than others. I think it's too premature to write him off as a bust. I think 1 year, you can't let just 1 year of a quarterback play to determine his trajectory in the NFL. So I'm excited to see what he looks like with Canales out there as his new offensive mind in his ear and the new weapons and, of course, protection helping out Bryce Young. So, Clay,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining the show.
No,
everybody in the chat right now, hit the like button. Subscribe to Clay. We appreciate you guys. Go check out the NFC South Roundtable. We just dropped another video on that channel today, actually. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out. Tomorrow night, I'll be live for the Jets-Panthers reaction live watch party on this channel, Jets Media, if you guys want to come through. We'll see you guys then. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Football is right around the corner. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.